Please start.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant day to everyone, those who have joined for the session. It is my privilege, prestige, and honor to be here as a resource person for the last day. I am Dr. Ravi Kumar, a master trainer, a facilitator, an internationally certified coach, mentor, and also a course counselor, as well as a spiritual trainer and a spiritual preacher as well. I'm into this training and development for the last 17 years post my retirement from the Indian Army. I'm an Army veteran, as I've already introduced you, and I did serve in the Indian Army for 30 long years as a telecom and radio engineer. I did my engineering and my master's in computer applications, both from the Military College of Telecommunication Engineering, Indian Army. So, it's also my privilege to extend my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to our beloved founder, Piyush sir, who is the founder who is having a wide vision. He's a wide visionary of education, who single-handedly has spread their wings across all the continents of the globe and 190 plus countries across the globe. So without making much delay, I would like to welcome all the participants, those who have joined the meeting, and also it is my privilege to welcome our chairperson and the director of the India chapter, Dr. Snigdha Kadam, for this eventful session. Last but not the least, I welcome all the participants for the day 4, the last day of the Global Mentor Development Program, right? To get certified as a global mentor and take up the profession as a mentor. So for the last 3 days, we have come across many things. What is mentoring? What are the key requirements of mentoring? What are the benefits of mentoring? Who can mentor? Who can be a mentee? All these things and the key skill sets to be required for a mentor and what are the challenge, what are the requirements for a mentor? What are the educational qualifications or what are the skill sets that are required for a mentor? So on and so forth. Along with that, it is the day where we, as all of us know, whatever may be the platform or whatever may be the vertical in any domain that we are working, from a household course to the head of the nation, none of the posts are challengesless. All the posts, all the designations, all the jobs, all the professions do have challenges. So, in the same way, even the mentors also will have to face the challenges. But one thing I would love to say here is that if a mentor is mad, if a mentor is mad, he can be a very effective mentor or she can be a very effective mentor. What is mad? Mad, M, mindfulness. A mentor should be completely mindful. Assertive, A stands for assertive. A mentor should be an assertive person. He should know what is an assertive communication. Not only communication is attitude, behavior, everything should be assertive. And D for dedication. A mentor should be a dedicated mentor. He should devote himself or herself for this post. Only then a mentor can become an effective mentor in the profession. With that, despite mentoring, it's being a very highly successful learning and it's a highly successful development strategy as well. However, I would love to say that it even the mentoring doesn't come without its challenges. It has its own challenges that a mentor will have to come across. Mentor will have to overcome. So, whatever may be the thing, whether it may be a planning, or it can be a communication, or it can be a matching of developing a relationship with the mentee, or it can be a time commitment, that is the time management and the commitment for the mentees time slots that we would have allocated being a mentor, or the sessions that we take out with the mentee. So it's always good to be prepared for any potential mentoring challenges mentally. That's why in the beginning itself I said a mentor should be mad. That means should be mindfulness, assertive, and dedicated. Without dedication, we cannot be prepared mentally and potentially to face any challenges or overcome any challenges. Right? So that is where the challenges starts. However, we know that mentoring is a very powerful way to support the growth and the development of others. That means others in the sense the mentees. As it also comes with its own challenges and pitfalls. Now, being a mentor, before we take up this challenge as becoming a mentor, this you see, taking up this profession as a mentor itself is a challenge because whatever the different types of mentoring we adopt to take, that means we adapt as a mentor, we will have to be mad. If we are mad, we have to face the challenges and overcome those challenges. Now, being a mentor, in the perception of a mentor, all of you just visualize that each and every one of you are mentors of one or the another and start exploring what are the challenges that could be faced by the mentors and the mentees as well. So, the major challenges or the top challenges that mentoring or mentor would have is that, ma'am, can you please change the slide? The first and foremost thing is that how can a mentor generate interest? That means how do I generate interest? Interest in whom? The question. There is a question for the question now. How do I generate interest? For whom do you generate interest? For self, that is the mentoring, or for the mentee to get mentored. So we have, as a mentor, designed our mentoring program and our key objectives are very well set and we are ready to get started. We are ready to get started. But can you please mute who is speaking? May I request all the participants to mute, please?
Yes. Assumption only.
Hello? Right? So, we are worried about the potential sign up of the members. Means, who will sign up for becoming the mentee? How will they accept this mentoring and will they sign up? The potential signing up of the mentees. But this is a very common challenge or mentoring challenge that we come across in the very beginning stages as a mentor. But this can be overcome once a mentor continues to be in the profession as a mentor, as the experience grows of mentoring, this particular challenge can be overcome. Right? So, and one that needs to be tackled early on in your planning itself. That means when we want to become a mentor, we do plan first. So when we plan for the mentoring program, at the same time, we need to plan for the challenges that would arise and how to overcome those things. That's what I said. In the early stages itself, this mentoring challenges do appear. And once you get experience to overcome these challenges of the potential sign up, then it is easy to overcome this particular challenge. Now, building a base of eager mentors and mentees can take time to take time and patience, but education is the key one, right? So, building a base of eager mentors, that means to become an willing mentor. Eager mentor is in the sense willing mentor. There should be willingness in each and every one of us who wants to become a mentor. When we plan, that time only we should plan what is my knowledge, what is the 360-degree or what is the holistic knowledge I do have in what mentoring I can take up. Once we plan that, one should be inclined towards mentoring, one should be eager or one should be willing to mentor the mentees, the type of mentees that you choose to mentor. And also, the mentees should also have the willingness to learn. It is not that for the namesake, no, I want a mentor, appoint a mentor. No, then both the things, if either the entity is not willing, then mentoring will be not be success. Right? So for that, both should have well adopted or well set free time and also should possess patience to a very great extent and politeness and wisdom. For all these things, which is the key, which is the important sector or which is the important skill set one needs to have, the basic need is the education. So when we look into all these things here, how can we overcome these mentoring challenges? Are that share your social proof, emphasize the benefits of mentoring, get senior leadership on board. So when you do this, share the social proof. What is that social proof? Your own introduction, your achievements, your uh, achievements, along with that, your certifications, your educational qualification, all these things you should share on the social platform as a social proof. And your results of mentoring or before that results of coaching if you were a coach, whatever it is. And in the initial stages itself, a mentor should always start to emphasize the benefits of mentoring. The emphasis on the benefits of mentoring should be well known and it should be well achieved as well. Then always get some senior leadership on board because for getting guided, you being a mentor, if you onboard a senior mentor or a senior leader with you, then it will be easier for you to get the guidelines. Being a mentor, what are the challenges one can face? Let us discuss about those things. Next slide, ma'am. Am I audible to all? Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. So the first and foremost challenge that a mentor faces is that assessing the mentee's background. What is that background? The educational qualification, the skill sets one has, the potential of learning, then the potential to develop the knowledge, interest to develop the skills. All these things are the key factors that needs to be assessed before we take up the or before we take someone as the mentee. We need to assess for these backgrounds. And second thing is that we have to identify the mentee's motivation. How much the mentee is motivated? What is the willingness to learn? How much inclination the mentee shows? What is the dedication level of the mentee to learn and progress himself or herself in the career? Then dealing with the mentee's inexperiences, that is knowledge and skills again. Because mentor is required to ment the mentee and the gaps of the mentee. So what are those gaps? The gaps are the skill sets and the knowledge about that particular work a mentee is taking up. Or if it is a student, a particular subject or a particular career path the student wants to adopt. So what is the knowledge level one has got? The another major challenge is the misconception of the mentees. Because many mentees, they have developed this misconception towards this science. That is another huge challenge. Of course, the major challenge, one more challenge is setting up of the goals. It is not a simple thing to set a goal, but because the setting of goals, it should be reasonable, it should be relevant, and it should be realistic also. Setting up of these 3R goals, that is, which are reasonable, relevant, and realistic. Then, next challenge is keeping the mentees engaged. So, keeping the mentees engaged in the sense, is the mentee having that inclination, having that attention, having that focus towards upskilling or upgrading himself by acquiring the knowledge, that is the experience and knowledge from his or her mentor. How much this learning is being implemented in the practical life of his or her profession. Whatsoever may be the profession, if it's a working person, what is the work experience? If it is a student, what is the academic study experience the one has? What is the level of the education? What is the percentage of knowledge about that particular stream of education the student is possessing? Then supporting the mentee financially. That is another major challenge. Building mentees' confidence. Here, building the mentees' confidence is another key challenge where, as a mentor, one will have to not only motivate the mentee psychologically, but also sentimentally also the mentee has to be motivated. Psychologically as well as sentimentally, the mentee has to be motivated. So how to motivate the mentee? How do you overcome this challenge? While doing the assessment, we come to know what is the motivation level of the mentee. So connect the real life or the realistic examples where the success of the successful people Those who have got mentored and they have escalated their career, their life. From which level to which level they have got escalation. These real-time examples need to be given, and this requires sort of make the mentee to get inspired by knowing their stories, knowing their background, knowing their success. That inspirational knowledge should also be there with the mentor. So that is another challenge where we need to know about this inspirational knowledge or the inspirational stories to motivate the mentee. Then fostering the mentee's independence. We should be, that's why I said, we should be polite, we should be humble, and we should be wise enough. If we are not having any quality of these three less, that means fostering of the mentees, that fostering will have a great impact. That is, the impact is the adverse impact. That patience, understanding every challenge of the mentee is another challenge to the mentors. Then comes the deciding on the best solution to a given mentoring challenge. So once you understand the mentee's challenges, that is the challenger for the mentor. To solve the mentee's challenges, what are the things that one needs to have? And because when we find for solutions, we won't find one solution. We will find two or three or four solutions for one challenge. Out of three or four or five challenges, sorry, uh, solutions for one challenge, which is the best solution for this particular mentee. All solutions cannot be implemented for a particular mentee because a mentee's challenge can be overcome only by looking, or it is with the first challenge, knowing about the mindset of the mentee. So according to that skill level, knowledge level, mindset of the thing, according to that, a mentor will have to decide the solution that needs to be given to the mentee's challenge. Then setting up of limits and boundaries for the mentor or the mentee relationship. On the very first day I was telling, a personal relationship will have to be built between the mentee and the mentor. Personal relationship in the sense, the freedom, the limit, the boundary should be set to learn anything personally, nothing beyond that. Because as the personal relationship means people take it for granted and they go wayward. It should not happen. Here, personal relationship is restricted only to learning and developing the knowledge and skill sets. So, the mentee should have that freedom to ask silliest of the silliest questions to get upskilled or upgraded. That freedom should be given, but that is one of the personal relationship, a friendly relationship that can be built, but not beyond that. No personal involvement for any other sort of a thing, for any other personal commitments. No, that should not be, that boundary should not come into this. Then addressing the lack of planning. If the planning is having some lackness in it, how to overcome those lackness and what solutions would suit the best to overcome those lackness. Then giving the negative feedback to the mentee on lack of progress. This is another major challenge. That means this is called as the aggressive feedback. That's why I said a mentor should be a MAD. That is mindfulness, assertive, the second concept. That is the assertive. A mentor should be assertive. We cannot give the aggressive or we cannot give a very passive feedback. The feedback should be constructive. If you have to give the constructive feedback, a mentor should always be assertive. Then allocating the time, that means time management for every sitting a mentor decides to have with the mentee. Then finding the resources. Because once mentor understands the mentee, from where the knowledge, where all these materials of information can be collected, those resources, finding out the resources and remaining patient. This is another important. Remaining patient, having wisdom, having politeness is another key factor for this thing. Next, please. Okay. So what happens if there is a bad match between mentors and mentees? That means when the relationship doesn't gel between mentee and the mentor. If the relationship doesn't gel between the mentee and the mentor, what would happen? So one of the mentoring challenges one might eventually face is a mentor and mentee that doesn't get along. That means a good relationship is not built between them. So a good way to prevent a bad match is by using a robust matching system like guiders. Taking guiders is another best way to match that mismatch between the mentors and the mentees. But if you try to match it manually, we would be risking about the time factor because we may not have so much of time to match that relationship or match that what do you call as understanding between the mentee and the mentor. So for that we may have to shut down a lot of time. So time management will have a greater adverse effect on this. And it also personal biases. It leads to personal biases as well, which getting in the way. And when we have these two obstructions in the way, then the potentially obstruct any diversity goals. Now, how can we reduce the risk of having a bad match? So this bad matching can be reduced by considering the matching them on both skills on the common ground. What are the skill sets both are having on the common ground? So it can be the hobbies, a common hobbies both are having, discuss then the skill sets of both the mentors and the mentee. Then their strengths and weaknesses that the strengths and the weaknesses, that means strengths and the gap are the area of improvements. And if both are having the same set of goals, then if these things are in common in both, that is mentee and the mentor, then the bad matching relationship can be turned on to a good matching relationship. So what we do is to help mentors and the mentees create a safe space which can allow them to comfortably communicate. So that communication should be very clear, very apt, and very assertive. Encourage them to speak about their strengths, their gap, or the area of improvement, that is the weaknesses. The common mistakes that normally do happen. Then the fear of losing something or fear of not getting through in something, and the level of motivations in order to build the trust. So we have to help in these factors as a guide. That's why in the beginning we said having a senior guide on board to help the mentor and the mentees to develop a good relationship between them, to develop a good match between them. These mentoring relationship, ma'am, next slide please. So to build these relationships, it itself is a challenge. Because when we are being a mentor or a mentee for the very first time, why so? Because understanding each other, understanding each other's background, understanding each other's strength, understanding each other's gap or the area of improvements, all these things will take some time. So this would be a challenge in the very beginning itself. So why these challenges might come? These challenges do come because of lack of commitment. That's why I said MAD. Now D comes into play. That is the dedication. How much dedicated a mentor is to mentor the mentee, and how much dedication the mentee is having to get mentored. Both the ways, what is the dedication? That is the commitment. That is lack of commitment. Obviously, poor communication. If the communication is not to the required benchmark, then these challenges do occur. Then communicate the stressors. When the mentee or mentor is communicating, if either of them doesn't possess the patience or the politeness, then we communicate the stressors. So when stressors are communicated, even then the mismatching does happen. So communicate the wins. Then do always saying, I have done this, I am successful. This also, over communicating about the success. That is what is communicating wins. The communication should be very open, friendly, assertive, and realistic. When we communicate, we should be there readily having the facts and figures about the success or about the wins, the social proof. Then the over dependence. For everything, losing the independence of doing anything. Over dependence is nothing but losing that independence mindset, losing that independent mindset, losing that initiativeness, losing that volunteerism, and depending for guidance for each and everything that is being done. That should be overcome. That should not be there. Then the unrealistic and mismatched expectations. Expectation should always be realistic. Just like the goal setting, when we say in the SMART goal setting, we say R stands for realistic. If they are not realistic and relevant, then again the mismatching happens. Because the expectations between the two, mentor expects something, the mentee expects something, and if they are not matched, then also it becomes a great challenge for the mentors to become the mentor, uh, to mentor the mentees. Next slide, ma'am. So, what is the conclusion that we can do with this about the challenges? So, we have explored these many challenges, right? About the mentoring and also about getting mentored and the program managers might face during their mentoring programs. So, open the communication between the mentors and the mentees, and the program manager is one of the most important aspect or a key point to be a successful mentor or to program a mentoring program. When we understand each other's aspirations and the motivations, if it helps to create a more successful program with the fewer roadblocks, less challenges. Next, ma'am. So, so when the mentoring in challenging situations, how do you mentor? How to help your mentee work through the problems? Or how do you guide? How do you mentor your mentee to overcome certain challenges or work when the challenges are faced also? It means work through the problems. So that is what is dealing with difficulties. Another skill set one has to develop. How to deal the difficulties and how to deal with the difficulties. So the first and foremost thing is that to establish trust. The trust should be developed, established and developed, and it should be concreted between the two. That is the mentee and the mentor. Then active listening skills should be developed in both the people, that is both the mentor and the mentee, of listening of what? Listening of concerns. All the concerns should be listened politely and patiently to understand what is the issue of the mentee or the mentor. Then acknowledging the emotions, emotional intelligence. Yesterday we learned when Professor Nada was taking the class, emotional intelligence is another key skill a mentor has to develop. Always don't judge or don't pinpoint the mentees. Always create a safe space to discuss. Discussion is the last stage of speaking skills, right? The first space, the first phase of listening skills is speaking. Second is arguing. Third is debating. The fourth and the final one is discussing. Means it has four filters. The speaking skills has four filters. The last filter is the discussing one. Because discussion means what? Speaking over a common topic, coming to an understanding after discussing and getting the solutions for that, and coming to a consensus of that result. If there is no consensus about the result, again the discussion becomes an argument or a debate. There should be no argument, there should be no debating when we discuss. So for that, having to get into the state of taking the consensus, the discussion space should be created. Then look for the ideas and the solution. What are the good ideas to overcome these challenges? And what all could be the solutions to overcome these challenges? And once you get onto these multiple solutions, again, decision making is another skill set which would be the right solution. Taking the decision also plays an important role to overcome the challenges. Next, ma'am. Now, mentors can support mentees dealing with difficulties directly. The mentors can always support the mentees and deal with the difficulties directly also. But how can this be done? By modeling resilience and problem solving behavior themselves, they can lead by examples. Encourage the mentee to view the challenges as growth opportunities. That is again the assertiveness. Growth opportunities rather than the obstacles. Having that positive mindset. Share the own experiences and guide the mentors in developing effective strategies to overcome these difficulties. Another important aspect of mentoring in challenging situation is providing the constructive feedback. So, mentor can help the mentees to understand what is a constructive feedback. Again, for that, one needs to have that assertiveness. Always be specific. Always focus on the behavior rather than the personality. Offer guidance on how they can improve while also highlighting their strengths. Always guide by making them to understand the gap or the area of improvement, by guiding them, by praising their strength. So once we start praising their strength, they get into the groove of the mentors. When they get into the groove of the mentors, then start gradually injecting the gap, make them to understand the gap or the area of improvement and give the right idea to improve that gap. Then it is also essential to empower the mentees to take the ownership of the decisions, making them to take initiatives. Taking ownership means to take initiatives, to have that self-analysis and help them to identify alternatives also. If one doesn't work, what should be the next? And weigh the pros and cons of the situation. Help them identify, encourage critical thinking and guide them towards making informed choices. Sometimes challenging situations can lead to conflicts also. So it is always, if we have to not to enter into the situation of conflicts, again, MAD works here. Mindfulness, assertiveness, and dedication works to a great extent. Share your best experience and the outcomes in handling effective conflict resolution. Then discuss the skills to encounter these conflicts, such as active listening and compromise. That's where be realistic. Not all situations can be resolved through mentoring. Some challenges require some other type of things to get it resolved. So some of your own experiences may include failure also to resolve certain situations. Sharing these can be a learning moments as well. Encourage them to take risks and learn from both the success and the failures. Learning happens in both. Learning happens from success. Ki, how did I get this success? What is the background behind this? What did I do? Self-realizing, self-analyzing. And learning happens also from mistake. Where did I go wrong? What should I have done to avoid this mistake? Both ways, learning should be taken. So, one key line is that as a mentor, your role is not to solve every problem. It is not to solve every problem, but to guide and equip the mentees with the skills so that they need to overcome these challenges independently. As a mentor, we are not giving them the solutions, we are making them to find the solutions. We are upskilling them to find the solutions. The skill set of the mentees are upgraded. We are upskilling them to find the solutions by themselves. Next, ma'am. How can the previous slide, please? Sorry. Yeah. What are the three ways? No, ma'am. This is done. Yeah, next slide. Right. Three ways. Yeah, okay. Thank you. What are the three ways to navigate difficult mentoring conversations? But what can mentors do when discussing a challenging topic their mentee is facing? Because the challenges are faced by the mentee. To understand those challenges, what the mentor can do, it not actually depends on the type of challenge and, of course, the type of specific situation, under what situation this challenge has arisen. So, understanding that situation of the challenge where it has arisen, learning to stay positive and supportive while being realistic through such discussions, this would help to the mentee and your mentorship as well. So, advice on handling difficult people. How to handle difficult people? Helping them to navigate through challenging tasks. Make them to understand what all the challenges they have faced earlier, how did they overcome that, how did they navigate from the challenging situation to a comfort zone. Addressing seemingly unsolvable problems. Most of the mentees, they think, no, this cannot be solved. But addressing those problems, how these can be solved, guiding them, showing them the right path, how these challenges or how these issues can be resolved. If you adopt these three ways to navigate from the difficult situation, the challenges can be overcome easily. Next slide, ma'am. So, mentoring is the challenge in how to help the mentees. So, we can help the mentees by avoiding the complaints. It is not productive. Always complaining will not be productive. So, we should avoid complaining. Always every issue should be documented. And when the issues are documented, the potential solution will also be documented automatically. And don't let the conversation go in circles. That means the very first day I told, whether it is mentoring or counseling, the discussion between the two entities, that is the mentor and the mentee, or the counselor and the counselee, should be kept confidential. Review the issues or the solutions. In the point, if the point that comes very regularly. If the challenges or the points discussed over for the overcoming the challenges, if it recurs quite often, then review the challenges as well as the solutions. Never let the mentoring sessions to go off track. Always stay positive, stay on track. That means always be on the topic. And if one feels that the challenge of the mentee is beyond the scope of the mentor, then you should confirm what would be the next right action to be taken. So always protect yourself both professionally as well as emotionally. So there is no doubt that mentoring provides numerous benefits. If we have already understood what are the benefits by mentoring, but mentors also get benefited, even mentees also get benefited, and even the organization where for whom you are mentoring, that also gets benefited. Ma'am, next slide, please. But what would happen is even the best program and committed participants can encounter challenges. Here are some of the most common challenges in mentoring relationships. Meeting as scheduled, that means time management. Bringing the meeting schedules into action, that is another one. Excessive time and energy commitments, unrealistic expectations, over dependence on the mentor or on the mentee, unfair manipulation on the part of the mentor or the mentee, resentment or jealousy from others, ineffective mentoring pairs. So, there are certain barriers also in the mentoring. Ma'am, next slide. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So, what are the barriers for mentoring to be effective? The first and foremost is, as we said, the lack of clarity. Be the first to add your personal experience to give that clarity. Mismatch of styles. You should be the first to add your personal experience even for that. Lack of trust. lack of resources, lack of feedback, and here is what else to be considered. These are the six major sorry barriers a mentor or the mentee would face. Next slide, ma'am. So with this, I would love to say that mentoring is a brain to pick, an ear to listen, and a push into the right direction. So you have to be aware with all the five sensible organs. Next, ma'am. So when we say that a mentor always empowers the person to see a possible future, a successful future, and believe it can be always obtained. This is quoted by Mr. John Hitchcock. Great. My heartfelt gratitude to him as well, those who gives us such a good motivational quotes for us to develop our mentoring programs and get success in our professional life. Thank you so much for everyone. If anyone is having any questions or queries or any doubts or want to discuss on any of the points, please do unmute yourself. Please do open your cameras also so that all of us can see each other and we can go for the face-to-face discussion. Can I have everyone on the camera, please? Can I have all the participants on the camera if I am audible? Snigdha ma'am?
Yes, sir, you are audible. All are requested to start the camera. And as it's being the last day, you are requested to give your inputs or whatever, like, because see, being a mentor, the very first step is you need to be confident. You need to be, you need to speak. All of a sudden, if any task is given, any question is been asked by the mentee, you should be able to answer that. So I feel that is a first step. So let's do that first step. You are requested to start the cameras. Any questions to anyone?
Or you
Dr.
want to
thank
discuss?
Mushtaq, Mr. Parvez, Heidi,
Can,
Lyall.
No, thank you. Everything's clear. Thank you a lot, Professor. Thank you for the amazing presentation.
welcome, most welcome. Can I have you all on the camera, please, once? I know, being a mentor, taking up this mentoring course, programming course, if you want to become a mentor and if you're shy of the camera, how do you inspire the mentees to come on the camera to take your guidance?
Sir, I would like to give a simple example. If we are having the offline session, like in the classroom, and
Yeah,
being an educator, if our students don't look at us or don't look into our eyes, then what we feel? We don't feel connected with them, right? What we
yeah,
feel, we
very
are
true.
just delivering the knowledge. Nothing is going through or passing on to them. Thank you, Dr. Mushtaq. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mushtaq.
Parvez,
How are you doing? Yes. Thank you. Layal, how are
Hello,
you doing?
thank you.
Hi.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Layal. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Parveen, can I have you on the camera, please? Thank you, Parveen. Welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Veda. How are you doing? Hi, Din.
Wow, great. Great to see you.
Good. Great to see you all. You see, when you see each other's face, no?
You are on mute, sir. Yes, perfect, perfect. Just wanted to share with you all that Dr. Ravi Kumar sir, he is so dedicated that today full day from 10 to 6:30 he was continuously having offline training sessions. In spite of that, without taking I think a break, sir is over here, and that also in the bad traffic of India, he must have traveled for 2 to 3 hours, and somehow he have reached. Right, sir? So this is what is like,
Yes, ma'am.
quality of a
True, ma'am.
mentor. From each of our trainer, there are so many things to learn. See, we all are educators or we all are experts in our own field, right? But still, it's been said that being an human, we are in the continuous learning process. And so we are. From every individual, we learn something. So I learned from Dr. Ravi Kumar sir is to be like, dedication, and he always keep his words. Yes, if it's been planned, I should do it, right? So let's that be the first step as the mentor. Yes, sir.
Very true. Yes, very true. That is why I always keep on saying, you see, I was on the session from morning 8:30 to 6:30, almost 10 hours. 10 hours continuous session. Before the session, an hour and a half drive. After the session, almost 2 hour, 45 minutes drive. Immediately I am on the session. Means whenever we have to maintain our time management. Now, if you have to manage the time, I keep on saying two phrases. A time for everything, everything at its time. A place for everything, everything at its place. I do follow this. I'm following this for the last 60 years. When I was a child of 12 years old, I'm following this principle. That's wow. I have been a disciplined person so far. Once you commit, once you devote, you should not look back, whatsoever may come. That should be the dedication. That's what I gave that example. If you are to be an effective educator, let it be mentor, let it be a counselor, let it be a trainer, coach, whatsoever it is. If you want to be an effective educator, one should be mad. That is mindful, assertive, and dedicated. These three things should always be there in an individual. Only then that individual can be a very successful educator. Correct me if I am wrong. Any one of you feel that?
No, sir. You are perfectly
this
right
thing,
what you are
if you,
saying. And I feel that is what is the quality of each and every trainer of our International Internship University. Once committed,
true,
they
true,
see to it that they will fulfill it 1,000 times. And Layal being she's also having the sessions many a times with our country director
true
of
that.
Lebanon, Mahashade. So I think the entire team is
Right.
like that, and it's our honor to have such a great, dedicated,
Very true.
expert and experienced resource persons with us. My heartfelt gratitude to you, Ravi sir, and all the three trainers, Professor Nada Ratkovid, Professor Khairuddin from Malaysia. The fourth trainer could not join. That day we had not stopped the station. Ravi sir have taken the initiative. He himself have taken the session. So that is what you need to be a mentor. You have to support your mentees. Anyways, it's been a wonderful 4 days full of knowledge, enrichment. We are sharing the recordings also with you. Recordings are on YouTube. It's going to be permanent with you. Go through it. Try to implement these things in your life. It will certainly help you, to do better in your own profession. So I think with this note, we need to stop here. Once again, thank you so much. Heartfelt gratitude to the founder, Advocate Piyush Pandit sir, for giving us this opportunity. And I'm very proud to say that we have completed 10 batches of mentor development program. This is the batch wherein we have only 8 participants, but initially, first 8 batches, 60 plus people used to be there, like full of crowd. So it's indeed a great. Thank you so
True
much.
that.
Thank you to each one of you. Thank you, Dr. Mushtaq. Thank you, Mr. Parvez. Thank you, Layal. Thank you, Hadi. Thank you, Ayushi. Arpita ma'am is not there. Jaya Jyoti ma'am is not there. Thank you to each one of you for being so supportive. With this note, we stop here. You will receive your certificates on your personal numbers immediately after the session. Till then, good night, good afternoon, good evening, good morning to all the worldwide participants. See you all for more such enriching sessions in the upcoming days. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.